candy.
Ready? American Mary, 2012, Canadian film. I love this movie. I absolutely love this movie, and I am not one to fall in love with a horror movie right off. Sometimes a film, especially if it's supposed to be silly, I have to sort of look at it in that light. With American Mary, it does have comedic undertones, but it is a visceral, violent, brutal film that delves into the psyche of a young woman who has been not only raped by society and by the educational system that she's a part of, but also by actual people. It's a revenge film, while at the same time it's body horror. So it's a body horror revenge film. Think of I Spit on Your Grave meets Human Centipede. It was directed by the Twisted Twins, that's their name. By the Twisted Twins, Jen and Sylvia Soska. They are in the film as vampiric body morph, body mod characters. One could say they played themselves. They also did, I think, See No Evil 2 and Dead Hooker in a Trunk, which, if you have never seen Dead Hooker in a Trunk,
There is a dead body in the trunk with drugs.
do yourself a favor. It's great. The premise for the film is this young lady named Mary is a surgical student. I guess that's what you call them. She's a student of surgery. She is a medical student. Just to put it that way. She's a medical student who specializes in surgery, I guess. I don't know how that works. But she is basically down on her luck. She can't afford tuition anymore. She can barely afford her phone bill or anywhere or where she lives. And she's trying to look for a way out. And her way out is to go strip. Well, that sounds like the premise for a ton of movies, right? That's pretty much every down on her luck movie. Is, oh, well, she's going to be a stripper and then she's going to rise again and be whatever she's going to be. Well, this movie takes a turn, and this is where I'm going to get into spoilers. She goes to the strip club and she finds out that they're like the seedy underbelly strip club where this one guy, I guess he got mauled or beat up and one of his eyes is missing, and she is tasked to do fast surgery on this man. After she does fast surgery on this man, she's of course told not to tell anybody. They pay her a couple thousand, and she goes home and she deals with it. The next day, I mean, this movie moves. It moves. There's no, oh, well, a week later or 2 weeks later. The next day, she's called upon again to do surgery on someone else. Now, this is where she finds out that she's sort of fallen into body mod, illegal body mod surgery, where most plastic surgeons won't give you pointed ears or shave your teeth down to fangs. There are surgeons in the world, and this exists, there are surgeons in the world who have sort of split off or maybe have been disbarred. I don't know the word, but they're no longer surgeons, reputable surgeons at a hospital. So they're doing these side surgeries to sort of make money, and there's big money in it because body mods is very niche. This is a movie where everybody's a criminal, and it has the energy of, say, a dark comic book film. It definitely holds on to a Batman energy while at the same time doing sort of Blade stuff. It feels like a different world. It doesn't feel like Earth, where Batman's Gotham City doesn't necessarily feel like Earth, although a lot of the characters are grounded in what we would consider reality. It doesn't really feel like it's anywhere America. She is slowly becoming what I would consider a Batman villain. We sympathize with her. We want her to win. We want her to be good. We want her to be better. The parts that catch up with her are the parts where she's taking revenge. Those are the bad parts. So when she takes revenge on the professor that rapes her, she does this wild body mod surgery. And kudos to the FX team, because I believe this man had no legs. I believe this man had no arms. I believe this man was, like, his lips were sewn shut. Like, the FX team on this was fantastic. There's a scene where he's hanging from his back in hooks, and you can see it, and they do a pan around to make you sure, like, there are no strings. This is actually happening, folks. Here's my issue with the film, and this could be the point. Everybody in the film, nobody feels real. Nobody feels like they belong on Earth. Everybody feels like they're acting like what they think humans act like. It's more like a stage play, like the way everybody else is acting in the film. Because the woman playing Mary, Catherine Isabelle playing Mary, is an inspiration. She's witty, she's funny, she's dark, she's dry, sort of has this deadpan. Her reactions are those of a reaction of a person who, one, needs the money and has the ability to do it.
I'm changing specialties, Dr. Grant. Have you ever heard of body modification? Neither had I. Anyway, you know how you're always telling me that surgeons can't make any mistakes? So, in the spirit of practice, I've come up with a little list of the most popular procedures that we are going to try on you tonight. So, we have tongue splitting. I know.
Her confidence grows as the movie moves on, especially after she does that surgery on her professor. Her confidence definitely grows, but in the beginning, those first few surgeries, she's very, is this happening? Like, are you sure this is what, like, it's never like, oh my God, I'm so horrified. She has moments where she has to deal with it and she internalizes, but it's never to the point where we are taken out of the movie, where we are just like, oh, she's gross. Like, she's whiny and gross. She's very cool and level-headed for the most part. The first one, of course, freaks her out, but I think after that, it steps up. Of course, after the rape, she goes kind of numb, and that's how she copes. She copes throughout the entire film with making men feel pain, and that is maybe something that the Twisted Twins have gone through. I'm not really sure. I don't know their backstory like that, but it's like I said, it's I Spit on Your Grave, where when she's taking revenge, it's less about who did what. It's about all these men need to pay. Who can I make pay, and how badly can I make them pay? And that's something we all feel, and we sympathize with that. One of the characters is the bar owner, the strip club owner, who's actually very attractive to me. But he's the strip club owner, and she walks in on somebody giving him head, and she finds out that the strip club owner does something for her. I'm not going to give you the whole thing, but she finds out that he does something for her that touches her heart, and still makes her side-eye him a lot, but she sees him differently. So she goes to basically, like, it's a knee-jerk sort of crime of passion where she goes to attack this girl who was giving him head. And you like, no, don't kill her, oh, don't kill her. And when she doesn't, it's like, God, I really like this girl. This chick is an underrated horror film actor. She has been in a ton of horror films. She was in Disturbing Behavior. She was in Insomnia, Freddy vs. Jason. Oh God, I wrote some others. Ginger Snaps, Bones. The writing, however, again, like I said, It doesn't feel like these people, normal people don't talk like this. Normal people do not talk like a lot of people. Some of these people don't feel like actors. The bouncer, who is basically her bodyguard, sort of becomes her bodyguard sort of midway through the film. Even though he's charming and he has great lines, he doesn't feel like an actor, and he can't act. He's bad, but he's a joy to watch.
A few years back, this fucking kid breaks into my mom's house. One of those B&E motherfuckers. She hears somebody downstairs and she grabs her umbrella and heads on down. What the fuck she thought she was gonna do with that umbrella, I'll never know. But she heads downstairs and he grabs the fucking umbrella and beats the fucking shit out of her with the goddamn thing. Punctures her eye socket and fractures her jaw, breaks 3 of her ribs. And the little fucker kicks her cell phone just far enough out of her reach so she can't call for help. And then he leaves her there to die. Find her 3 days later. She's in the hospital for 4 fucking months. What I wouldn't give to have known you back then when I found that little motherfucker. Don't you ever devalue what you do, Mary. You make sure they deserve it, and don't waste a minute of your time thinking about them after you're done.
Everybody who is not an actor in this film, or doesn't feel like they're trying to act, are joys to watch. Body mod girl who made herself look like Betty Boop. I don't know how much of that is acting. And maybe that's the point. They tried to sort of intertwine reality with sort of this over-the-top horror comedy. And it works. It works on a number of levels. It has a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a solid film. Now, that being said, it does, because it's trying to intertwine this sort of myth with reality, it loses something in character development for the other people around her. The central part is Mary. We follow her journey. There's very little footage of this film that's not with her in it. It's pretty much every scene. There are other scenes that we see, like side scenes, but they're few and far between, but most of the scenes are her. And while I accept this, and while it's through her eyes, if you want us to care about anybody else in the film, maybe develop them a little further. I don't know. It just felt like it suffered from some character development from other characters. Some people were there and then they weren't anymore. The end is a testament to that. She goes to this girl's house or whatever, and there's a picture of her with this guy, and she finds out that that's her husband. That's all we get. So if that was developed, just maybe 5 more minutes was spent on that, we wouldn't have to flash back to her saying that when we find out that the guy ends up murdering the woman she modded because she might. Yeah, and I'm sure there are people that are like that. This woman did an extreme body modification, and he didn't like it, so he killed her and he killed her friend, and then he went to kill Mary, which happens at the end. Spoiler, which happens at the end. He ends up going to kill her, and that's what happens. The end shot is spectacular, though. Like, while it kind of shit the bed with the way she dies, it also is magnificent the way she dies, because the way she got stabbed was not necessarily the way she died. She died doing surgery on herself. It's so visceral, it's so brutal, and that is Angel's Kiss. It's a great ending to a solid film, and I suggested I give American Mary a B+. While it suffers from maybe a small budget and some writing issues, it's a solid thriller. It's a solid psychological horror where we watch this girl slide into madness and we sympathize with her. we are her. We want to be her. We wish we had those kind of skills that we can make the people that hurt us pay. So that's it for this episode of Monday Movie Night. I am your host, Damien Nova. Please subscribe, comment, and share. Also, go to Facebook and Instagram. I will be posting stuff over there at the Penny Candy Show Facebook and the Penny Candy Show Instagram. Also, follow us on Twitter at Penny Candy Show 1. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Penny candy.